I feel like I keep promising book reviews and then 14 more weeks go past. So the book I'd like to review today is Imprison the Sky by A.C Gaughen, and I did read this at the end of February and I know it's a long time coming. Before I get into this review too, I just wanted to say that I was sent this book in exchange for an honest review from Bloomsbury, Australia. So I'm really thankful of them sending this book to me, and it was my first ever review copy, and it's just always going to have a special place in my heart. And for the fact that it's the sequel to my favourite book of last year was just the best thing ever. So this book review is going to be spoiler free, so I'm going to try and not spoil you. Like sometimes like things that I think aren't a spoiler other people will think is a spoiler, so if you do feel like I've talked a bit too much, I am really trying to rein it in and completely not talk about anything that happens at the end that is important. But anyway, let's get into this review. So as I said, this book was amazing, and the fact that it was a new POV didn't really take away from the story, because characters from Reign the Earth were popping up in the story and everything was just weaving together really well. And it's really set up this book and this series to have a really solid like army and battle happening, because that's where I ultimately think it's going towards. In Reign the Earth, you are really feeling the intensity between the two like warring sides, even though they hadn't gone to war yet. But by this book, it's getting a bit more intense, and probably in the third and the fourth book is where it's really gonna like go down, and I'm very excited about that. But a good aspect of this book in the series is the world is just very easy to understand, and there's not a lot happening that just gets really confusing. And I do love elemental magic, even though I have been seeing a lot of people saying that it's getting old and it's boring. I never find it old. Like I think it's always fun, and elemental magic is always easy to understand. Like there is the grey elements between the two elements where there can be other powers people can have. It's a very good structure, and it's just one that's easy and flows definitely. And as I said, easy story, easy magic system just makes it for an easier reading experience. So Aspasia was our main character in this book, and she actually did have a bit of a scene in Reign the Earth, but she wasn't named. So for me reading this book, I don't remember that, but they do elaborate and talk about it a bit more into this book of what her key part was in the previous book. Like, oh cool, she's already like having key moments in the series before we even got to meet her. But she is the captain of a ship and she has air abilities, and that was a really cool concept I thought, because she was able to use her air to lift up the ship and fly it places, and to also get away from enemies. And another thing about Aspasia, she is a slave. So when she was 12 years old, she was sold into the slave trade, and she was separated from her younger brother and her sister. So it's been 6 years since she's seen her siblings, and her role that her like slave master has gotten her to do is she's got to go out and buy more slaves for her to bring back, and then they sell them. But as she's going around looking for slaves, she looks for her siblings, and over time she hasn't been able to find them. But what she also does is whenever she finds someone with elemental magic, she buys them and brings them into her crew so that she can protect them. But she also saves women and children, and that's a part of her code, that she doesn't take women or children, so that she releases them and only brings back men, even though her bringing back the men still really upsets her. But there's always people that she's been saving, so it's one of those situations where it's like, does the good really outweigh the bad here? But she feels really guilty about it all the time, and it's a big theme in this story is how much guilt she has over what she has to do. But she is a slave herself and she's being forced to do this. So the only highlight of her life is trying to find her siblings, but also training her crew in elemental magic so that they're able to defend themselves when they're older. And I just thought she was so resilient and tough, and she cares so deeply for her crew, and she never wears her emotions on her sleeve. And it's only certain people that she lets see her that vulnerable, and she just wants everyone to be safe and happy. And they're just really good qualities to have as a captain ship, and her whole crew respects her and would follow her anywhere. And she's just found this little family of people, and they all care about each other, and it's so beautiful. And like, it's only recently that I've realized how much I love the found family trope, because it's the best. So a character from Reign the Earth that's a main character in this book is Kairos. He pops up in the slave trade when Aspasia is buying a few other slaves, and Aspasia feels a magical connection because with her air magic she's able to like find people with the same abilities, which is pretty cool. But she ends up buying him, and he's very like distrustful of her because it's like, ooh, you're a slave trader and you do all these wrong things. But then he realizes she's not as bad. Kairos is actually Shilia's older brother, and he went missing at the end of the last book, and in this book he comes back and he's a like main character, and he ends up being like the father figure of the group in a sense, because they have such a cute little relationship and I really liked it, and there's a strong bond there and it's cute and like they're together, it's happy, I love it, it's fun. So there is a lot of characters to follow in this book, and there is a lot of crew members that were really fun, and everyone was like very different. Like, yeah, a lot of it did blur together, but there was a lot of voices that did speak out. The plot of this book was a lot of fun too, because they're always going along in their ship and like, you know, doing different things, and then like it starts to get really intense near the end and everything starts picking up, and it was like a really good story as well. Like, because you either get plot-centered books or character-centered books, but when the book can do both, it's like, oh. But definitely all these characters spoke to me, and I had so much fun following them, and I'm just really excited to see what's going to happen in the next book, because I feel there has to be 4 books, because there's still 2 more elements we should get main characters from. But even if Shalia comes back and she's a main character, I'm going to be very excited about that. So this got a 5 out of 5 stars from me. I don't know how I could have given it anything less, because it's just, I love this world and character so much. But anyway guys, thanks for watching this review. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!